I'm here with Charlotte Simmons, who writes for The Treatment on Substack, which is a very important publication right now, I think, for the NonDē movement. I would say most notably, you you sort of coined new film criticism, um,
Mhm.
which I think is a very, very important. As somebody who studied literary criticism, uh, I very much admire what you're trying to do with film criticism.
Thank you. I
Uh,
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've worked as a entertainment journalist, a film critic, you're a screenwriter, a game designer, and most of all, an enthusiastic person. Uh, Today we're going to talk about comic book movies. This will be an interesting topic.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I'm not sure where you're going to take this. I might be able to talk about it,
I don't know where I'm
or
going to take it either.
I might have nothing to say. If depends which direction. Anyway, we'll start the 20-minute timer.
Mhm.
So why did you choose comic book movies?
Do you want the real answer or do you want the true answer?
Let's go with real.
The real answer? Okay, the real answer is that comic book movies are something that I can speak on with more lucidity than most other topics. I say speak and not write. I can write on pretty much anything I want to. Um, And I think like the way we talk about comic book movies can become a great litmus test for how we talk about the future. Because I think when we talk about comic book movies, we tend to talk about what is and not what can be or should be. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
Um,
yeah.
no, you go.
Uh, this seems to very much tie into your sort of philosophy on film criticism.
Yeah.
I mean, you're. It seems that you're just really your philosophy is to just really find the optimism or what is like what is the best thing that can be found in whatever you're
Well,
writing about or studying.
well, I think that yes. I'd say it's less optimism and more a commitment to being as real as possible. Because
That's
so like for example, like you asked me, like I asked you if you wanted the real answer or the true answer, and so what's real is um, we are the relativity of what's real, and the truth is the relativity for us. Okay,
uh, uh,
so
this is very Rashomon.
um, so when I think of comic book movies, I think of like the evolution of the the storytelling tradition, which is rooted in things like genre and things like
Yeah,
like dragons to slay and larger than life heroes for um, the common man, for lack of a better word.
yeah.
And so like those stories have always given shape to the manners in which we are trying to, mess with the fabric of reality a little bit. Like the those comic books, they give shape to those things that we want to do, right? So there's really nothing more insidious than watching comic books uh, become commercialized on the big screen. So
I
I think,
yeah.
like, I just think we need to like find a new way to talk about them so that we can realize. Um, Completely lost my train of thought.
Let me maybe it would help me, and I imagine a lot of people probably have this train of thought. Like the first thing that I wonder when you say comic book movies is
Mhm.
what portion of that is superhero?
What portion of that is superhero? Um,
Do you even are those two words intertwined for you?
they're intertwined certainly, um, but like I don't know, like I struggle with the word superhero because really it's just genre fiction that doesn't really adhere to any sort of boundaries. Like when you think of superhero films, that can be horror, that can be fantasy, that can be sci-fi. Like it branches into all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of forgot the original question, but does that like kind of answer it?
Yeah. I don't know that I was, yeah, I guess I was asking if they were intertwined. I think, I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. It's
Well,
hard
like,
to classify these. I mean, like, I love, you can see grab my graphic novels back
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But it's a contemporary thing for me. It's only something I got into recently, and I
Same.
didn't get into it through superheroes, which I think is a lot of people's journey into comic books.
Yes.
Like I was, I got into it like very literary, like From Hell was, I think, the first graphic novel I read that I was like, oh my God, this medium is something special.
Yeah.
Um, so
Have you
yeah,
read the Electric State?
I have not. Was that movie, the
That
Netflix movie, was based on
so so yeah, like that's kind of what I'm talking about is when I say nothing could be more insidious than
a
what we do to these stories. That's
yeah.
sort of what I mean.
Well, it's
Um,
in preparation for this, I was kind of looking up just like comic book movies, and was very surprised to see that there was a From Hell movie. Uh, yeah, it was like, I think Johnny Depp was in it. Like, and there was a Swamp Thing. There was a ton of
yeah, yeah,
movies that I've just never heard of. I assume they're not great, or at least like don't do justice to their source material.
mhm. What
Um,
if they did?
Elaborate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's I think that's what we need to like recognize that potential moving forward is what I'm saying. Like I feel like we have a responsibility to like free these genres from the bubble of commercialization, not necessarily the IP, but like the energy. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I get the sense that you're very much in the belief of like the eye of what in the eye of the beholder, or like, um,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know what just the eye of the
I'm not
beholder.
sure if there is another eye.
That's fair. That's, I guess there's yeah, you're right. I mean, well, there's there's the eye of the beholder, and then there's like the sort of communal
Mm.
eye, I guess. And I feel like what you're trying to push for is a shift in that communal eye, maybe.
Sort of, yeah. I suppose I'm more interested in the communal eye just recognizing itself as a bunch of beholders that happen to be interacting with each other.
So like this may take into a very, I'm curious what you think of. So I'm a big fan of like, I hate to use the word bad movies, but for
Yeah.
lack of a better word, I mean, it's just I
Like
love like
camp,
Troll
is that
2, and yeah, camp, I guess, is
yeah.
maybe the better word. Um, Movies that like are generally like, you know, I think I will use the word that like from the like how they're publicly consumed.
Mhm.
People go to Troll 2 or The Room, and they go to these screenings to laugh and really like make fun of it, but they're
Mhm.
having a great time. Uh,
Mhm.
that's something that I don't know if this at all
No, no, it does.
enters
It
this
very, very
conversation.
much does.
That
Um,
then I think we actually cross paths here in a very interesting way, and yeah, I always struggle with that. It's like, what's the right? Um, it's partially our perspective, but it's also like when you're sitting next to people and they're laughing, it's like the right note of laughter. Is it, the easy way to dissect it is like, are they laughing with or laughing at?
well,
Um,
that's sort of what I'm making of that is the laughter rooted in irony or is it rooted in sincerity? Right?
yeah.
Have you seen The Toxic Avenger?
Yes. It's been a long time though. Oh, not the new one.
Not the new one.
No.
I was referring to the old one.
Okay, yeah.
The
I
new
have to.
one is tremendous. Um, so like I'm when you watch like the old Toxic Avenger, it very much treats itself like a comic book. It's an original like thing as far as I'm aware, but um it treats its material as it would a comic book. Like it doesn't like try to um it doesn't try to push its storytelling limits because it knows it just has to understand. And then we get that shot of Richard Nixon's memoir in the city dump, right?
It's
And
been like 20 years since I've seen it. So
well, yeah, but like that is a scene in it, is what I'm saying. And so you have like the Toxic Avenger going around and beating up everyone, like
yeah.
regardless of which demographic they belong to. And that's the beauty of it. It recognizes our shared propensity for evil and therefore our shared humanity,
Hmm.
right? That's what we connect on with the Toxic Avenger. Um, I don't know if I articulated that particularly well. I'm kind of like re-upping a piece that I wrote recently when I say that.
Well, I think, I mean, no, I think you're articulating yourself well, but it's a hard concept to grapple with, I think, for me, and I would imagine for a lot of people.
It is, and that's just language. That's just like a thing. That's just part of the deal, you know.
So, I mean, Toxic Avenger is intentionally funny.
Yeah,
I think it gets a little bit grayer when you're at like unintentional comedy.
sure.
And that's where like it really starts to raise like how do you what's the right way to one example is like
Well,
are you familiar with Neil this is totally off comic books but quick aside is are do you
I
know
don't
Neil Breen's films?
know, and I don't think this is off topic at all. Just for the record.
Okay, well, Neil Breen is uh the, we have like an art house theater. It's not too far away.
Mhm.
Doesn't really bring in many crowds. It's like, it's like a Tommy Wiseau movie. Neil Breen is probably the most modern Tommy Wiseau. Uh,
Mhm.
absolutely like completely full. And I live in like a suburban area. Uh,
Yeah.
this type of theater does not get packed, but I went there for like the latest Neil Breen movie. It was just completely crowded. Uh, the most like uproarious laughter I've heard in a theater in like years.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's just there's something about that shared laughter experience that's like the most excitement I've seen in a theater in a long time. And
Well,
I have
yeah,
big
like
feelings about it.
like it's like I said earlier, comic books are the literature of the common man. That's a quote from Jack Kirby, actually. Um, and I think what you're describing there is like sort of in the same camp.
Yeah.
Um, like I come back to like again, like is the laughter rooted in sincerity or is it rooted in irony? And if it's one or the other, does it change over time? And according to which, and how does that like evolve like between the two of them? Because like when Richard Breen, like you say,
Yeah.
unintentionally funny, right?
Yeah.
Um, it could have
It's
been
arguable. That's arguable.
sure, okay, because like
But
it
it's
could it could have been initially approached as
yes.
something intentionally like dramatic.
Yes.
Um, but a big part of the storyteller's job is to like discover something instead of build it. And it sounds like the stuff that Neil Breen uncovered just happened to be these very funny things. He thought it was
Yes.
dramatic, but maybe he realized later on that they were funny.
It's hard to know, and I think that's part of the
Mhm.
appeal of
Yeah.
his persona and his films. But why comic books? Other like um I'm curious like this conversation is I think a very big one, and it's something I could just talk for hours about because uh it's so huge. And
Yeah.
you know, for those listening, like your new film criticism, I think is just absolutely huge. I mean, I think that's in for any medium.
I
I
really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate what you're doing, and I really didn't understand the importance of criticism. I went to grad school for English, really, because I was lost in life at that time in my life, and I was like, I want to read books, and I
Mhm.
just ended up in all these like literary criticism classes, and I really began to understand like just how important criticism is.
Mhm.
So it's nice to see people taking film criticism in a way that I think is very powerful. But to keep to your topic. Um, why are comic book movies such a like how does that become a central point to this much bigger conversation?
How do comic book movies become a bit? Hmm.
I mean, you addressed it a little bit as sort of like the common man idea, but
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing now is like the corporate perversion of that precedent, where it's like we're not trying to inspire, we're trying to cast the widest net,
yeah,
and inspire is a gratuitous word, I guess. Um,
let me
the,
no, no, go.
they are they are approaching like what we see from a lot of comic book movies is they are approaching the material with a sledgehammer instead of a magnet.
You know, another thing that you did a monthly challenge for Filmstack about uh adaptation.
Mhm.
And it's something that I also have a lot of like strong thoughts about, and it's interesting um, to hear you. I really kind of agreeing with a lot of my thoughts. I think adaptation is just it's a very it's a process that needs to be handled with a sort of delicacy that is extremely rare. Um,
Mhm.
and so to like kind of just play devil's advocate a little bit, I guess. You know, they're like, what do you think about films like Ghost World or Persepolis? Um, like there are adaptations of comics that are both good in their original form and their final form in a way that I think doesn't require too much of a as much it's a tough thing to articulate, but as
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say as much effort um, to get the best out of it. It's very easy to appreciate Ghost World and Persepolis as both comics and films, I would say.
Yeah. Our Ghost World and Percept. Well, like when I say like comic book movies right now, what I really mean to say is Disney.
Okay, so this
Right.
is where I was the superhero, but you're
Yeah. Well, like
that's a better term. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and I only say that because like when people think of like comic book movies, they're thinking of Disney,
Yeah,
right? And like we need to think about things like Persepolis or Ghost World, which I haven't seen, but I'm assuming
they're great.
uh, yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
Crow, one of my all-time
Yeah.
favorites, is another great example. Um, so let me ask you this: like, are Persepolis and Ghost World like how close are they to the comic?
Um, Persepolis more so because the author, like, I think co-directed it or maybe directed the film.
Okay,
I know, yeah, like that adaptation process um, was definitely like more uh, uh, like reliant on the source material. Um,
sure.
Ghost World, I think there's like some small changes, but it works. But I mean,
Mhm.
Ghost World utilizes like music very well and things that like the comic doesn't. So
Yeah.
it really works in both ways.
Well, because like if you're uncovering something in one medium, it's naturally going to be uncovered a different way in another medium,
Yeah.
right? So it's a matter of finding out like what is the best version for this medium. Maybe the best version is really horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And arguably the music in Ghost World actually is in the comic, but you know, it's I don't think about it because I don't hear it. But now that I
yeah.
think about it, they do try to illustrate that. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah. Um, we have 40 seconds left. Uh,
Okay.
I
Rapid fire. Let's do
the
it.
I think so now that the Disney I I want to just how did like your film criticism. I think
Sure.
that's the heart of this conversation. Um, like how, we should be watching films differently.
Yeah.
Is there an easy way to summarize it, or is it are we trying to see the best in what's in front of us, or is there a better way to articulate it?
Well, easy is relative. Um, I'll say this. Things can be simple without being neat. That's that's the best way off the top of my head I can
Things can be
articulate.
what was it? Things can be simple
Things can be simple without being neat.
without being neat.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That's a good
Yeah.
sentence.
It's a jumping point for
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
the 20 minutes goes quickly.
It does.
I certainly was
When
not sorry, good.
no, I was just saying when you said 40 seconds, I was like, whoa.
I know it goes fast. It goes especially when the conversations go like this was one I really did not know which direction. I
Me
had
neither.
two thoughts of where it was going to go, and it totally went into like a third. I wasn't
Mhm.
expecting uh like high philosophy in this conversation, but this was great. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that it went this in this direction because I think really the most important thing to highlight about what you're doing is this sort of new film criticism.
Yeah. Well, and like when we're talking about anything, like we're talking about how we are, right?
Elaborate. Although even
I don't know. Should I?
we did hit our time. What do you I need to know what you mean by that though.
What do I mean by that? Um, what do you think I mean by it?
I don't know. That's what like how
Yeah,
we are.
like how we are, how we engage with the world, how we um like what realities we commit to, stuff like that.
I see. I won't take it into another conversation.
What?
I won't take it into another conversation.
Not with me.
No, I mean this has been this could start a whole nother conversation, but
Yeah.
that's the whole point of the timer. So
Yeah.
we will end this.
Okay.
But this has been fantastic. Thank you,
Yes.
Scarlett.
Yes. Thank you so much. This was a blast, Avi. It's great to meet you too.
Yes, it was great to meet you too.
Hmm.
And keep doing what you're doing.
You too.
Cool.